Folks, it's that time again. Time for some super spicy speculation. So XO and SmiteDatamining.com haven't done a full data mine just yet, but the Winter Witch is getting better and doing their own formal data minings too. So we're going to be just talking about some of the stuff they've spotted in the data files and going through some super spicy speculation as always. So usually before a champion comes out, there's a finalization of their name. And pretty much every champion up to this point has basically a code name and then this new name. So Owl has been changed to Strix. Well, the Strix is kind of a vampiric half bird, half human creature that feeds off blood, like, well, vampiric. There do seem to be some depictions of just an owl that looks very bloodthirsty in a lot of art. And then there's lots of other ones where they're sort of almost like a harpy sort of thing, but an owl harpy, which obviously they used to be called Owl in the name. This is a champion that was using the dual weapon types, and they seem to have two kits to use with their weapons. But I wonder whether this Strix, this idea of a vampire, has any indication to their role. Do they have any kind of lifesteal? Maybe there's a card in their deck that has something to do with it, a bit like Genos. I'm not entirely sure there. It's a lot of speculation at the moment. If you want to hear any more about the champion, and a few of the cards were released in OB55's PTS data files, then you can check out my last video, and I'll put the card up right now for when I talked about Owl in a bit more detail. But basically the one with the flashbang, the two weapons and the flare, and maybe some invisibility going on there, maybe some flight, because I mean it is a bird type of thing. But there's one thing actually that Thomas Holt said on Twitter. He said that a champion with a tail is coming very soon, but it's likely not the next one. And this is the next champion since he said that, so I'm guessing that this is going to be more of a humanoid that's maybe wearing Strix, a sort of like owly armor. Or they might be half owl, half human, but might not exactly have a protruding tail coming out of there. But we'll just have to see how that one pans out. There's actually two new champions that we haven't heard of before that are being worked on. And again, this is all speculation. And these ones are pretty much untouched. They're probably not finished at all. But there's Churchill is the first one, which, you know, Winston Churchill, World War II, British Prime Minister. But I guess Churchill has quite a lot of connotations with dogs and British bulldogs, so could this be a dog champion? In the files, they reference champions Torvald, and it's pretty vague on this one. There's not a lot of details. Another champion that we haven't heard of before is Lazarus. And so the name of Lazarus is a Greek baby name, which means God has helped. But Lazarus of Bethany in the Bible was a saint that was brought to life after 4 days by Jesus. And as a code name, this could just be a little hint at what Lazarus does. Because if you're coming back, then maybe he can respawn himself, or perhaps even respawn allies. So perhaps he has something like Wraith King does in Dota 2, where you die and you basically resurrect, and in Dota 2, Wraith King basically slows everyone around him or can do damage depending on which path you take on that game. And maybe this champion could do something similar. Although when we look at the file speculation in which champions are referenced, we've got Kinessa, Fernando, Pip, Charlene, and Ceres. Now, two out of the 5 there are support champions, so maybe he has some sort of healing ability, and perhaps he is going to be a support, and maybe it'll be more to do with resurrecting his allies. Maybe he can only resurrect one at a time. Maybe it's not like Mercy where you literally res the whole team, because I don't know whether that would work out all too well in this game. But we'll just have to see how Lazarus works out. What do you think about Lazarus as a name? Do you think that's quite an interesting character? How would you react to a champion that could resurrect people in the game? Would you think that would be a good thing, or not so much? There is stuff in the data files about Demon, although there might be the cards coming later in the week when either XLAU or Smite Datamining take a look at it, because I think they are able to get out of all of the cards from the data files. And normally you get the cards come out in the data files in the leak like 2 weeks before, or like the patch before the patch where the champion is going to come out. So in 2 weeks we're going to get Owl or Strix now, as they're called, as long as that's the final name. It might not be. And then 2 weeks after that we're likely to get Demon or whoever they're called at that point. So you'd usually expect to get the cards at this point, or a few of them, because we got Owl's cards last time, or a few of them. Another thing that's being referenced in the files, in the new files, and this is for Lazarus, a new champion, is a new game mode called Fortress and Towers. Now this one's a bit more of a stretch, and it might just be old residual data, as we used to have the old Siege mode, where you basically ran a battering ram to a gate and you had to take down the gate. It was a bit more lengthy and a bit more MOBA-y, I guess. Maybe we're going to get something that's along those lines with some sort of tower defense system. Maybe, I mean, it says fortress/towers. I think, you know, it could fit in. It could be something to have extra in the game. I mean, it is mainly a shooter, it's mainly action, it's not exactly the Smite or the Dota 2 or anything like that, but I mean, it could be very fun. I mean, a lot of the champions do have references to the old Siege mode and battering down the gates and things like that, but we'll just have to see. Maybe there is another game mode in the works here. It'd be pretty cool. It's just a short one today. Again, all spicy speculation here. And what are all your thoughts? What are your wildest speculations about the champions coming forwards? What do you expect? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Joshino.